Right now, you are probably completely exhausted from a performance you don't even realize you're putting on.
Oh, absolutely.
Like you're wearing the costume, you are hitting all your marks, and you're projecting this incredibly polished, capable version of yourself out into the world. And you're just waiting for the applause.
Right.
But the second the curtain drops and you're finally alone, you are running on absolute empty.
Well, we've been culturally conditioned, right, to treat visibility like a currency exchange. We genuinely believe that if we project the quote-unquote correct version of ourselves, we'll get paid in validation.
Yeah, we understand that transaction.
Exactly. We understand the transaction of applause.
Yeah.
But psychologically speaking, and honestly energetically too, that transaction is almost always a losing bet. It just drains us way faster than it fills us.
Welcome to today's deep dive. We are targeting attention that is likely sitting right in the center of your chest today, Friday, June 13th, 2026.
It's a very specific energy right now.
It really is. And we're looking at an incredibly timely stack of material provided by Tarot by High C, which, by the way, you can explore for yourself at tarotbyhisc.net.
Highly recommend checking it out.
Yeah, definitely. So we have this astrological forecast for the Venus in Leo transit, which actually kicks off today and runs through July 9.
Yeah.
And to sort of ground this abstract astrology in something tangible, we are also looking at a companion fable from the same source. It's titled StoryScope, When the Mirrors Began to Laugh. Okay, let's unpack this. Have you ever felt like you're putting on an exhausting show just to be seen, but feeling completely drained the moment the curtain drops?
I mean, that feeling is the exact engine driving these next few weeks.
Mhm.
What we're doing in this deep dive is exploring not just, what this current astrological shift brings, but the underlying mechanics of why the distinction between performance and presence is critical for you right now.
It's about where we get our power from, right?
Precisely. We are looking at the actual machinery of how we source our self-worth.
So to understand why this tension is suddenly peaking right now, we have to kind of look under the hood of the astrology here. Venus is moving into Leo.
Mhm.
We know Venus is the planet of aesthetics, values, love, and what we attract. But what actually happens when you drop that specific energy into Leo?
You get a massive clash of motivations. Let's break down the engine of this transit. Leo is fixed fire. It's ruled by the sun.
And the sun doesn't hide.
Right. The sun sits at the absolute center of the solar system and demands to be seen.
Yeah.
So when Venus, the planet of what we value, enters the sun's territory, our desire for connection and beauty suddenly needs an audience.
Oh, wow. So they're kind of fighting each other?
In a way, yeah. Venus wants genuine value, but Leo just wants the spotlight. The core astrological tension here is, do you value yourself enough to just exist, or do you only feel valuable when the crowd is cheering?
Which brings us perfectly to the visual language of the fable, the StoryScope. Because abstract astrology is hard to hold on to, but a good metaphor really sticks.
Metaphors are everything.
So the story opens in the City of Mirrors. And once a century, the city magically wakes up. The text says the air smells like roses, and fountains flow with water that tastes faintly of peaches.
It's very vivid.
Very. But we can skip past the magical scenery, because the core mechanic of this city is its architecture. Every single street is lined with mirrors of all shapes and sizes.
What's fascinating here is the function of those mirrors. They aren't reflecting the physical world at all. Like, if you look into one just to check your hair, it won't work.
Wait, really? So what do they show?
They only reveal hidden internal truths. The text gives us these brilliant little vignettes, right? A baker looks in and sees herself as a poet.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, a merchant sees himself as a dancer. A lonely widow catches a glimpse of the fearless traveler she once dreamed of becoming.
But the funny thing is, most people just put their heads down and hurry past them.
Right, they avoid them.
Because seeing your unlived potential, like your actual true self, isn't always empowering. Honestly, sometimes it's terrifying because it demands you change your life.
It's a very inconvenient truth. But on this specific morning in the fable, the city forces the issue. Everyone shares the exact same dream at midnight.
Right, this woman woven from sunlight appears.
Exactly. And she announces the return of something called the heart fire. And when asked what the heart fire is, she defines it specifically as the courage to become yourself.
The courage to become yourself. I mean, it's like your life is suddenly upgrading from a black and white television to 4K color. Everything is suddenly vibrant and unapologetic.
That's a great way to put it.
And the next day, the citizens just stop hiding, artists start painting wildly, tailors are stitching memories into fabric. It's this unapologetic explosion of creation.
Which is the direct translation of the Tarot by Highway forecast for Venus in Leo. The text explicitly describes this transit as a period marked by warmth, pleasure, confidence, romance, and this passionate spark of collective desire for creativity.
So Venus in Leo is actively pushing you to embrace your full presence.
Yes. The directive in the forecast is to lead with the heart, celebrate your individuality, and loudly pursue what truly lights you up. It is the literal, real-world equivalent of the heart fire waking up the city.
Let's put a mechanism to this, rather than just saying things get brighter and louder. Think about how we power our lives, right?
Okay.
If you're constantly seeking validation from other people, you are running your life on a cheap battery. It constantly degrades. Every time you perform for the crowd, every time you check your phone for, you lose a percentage point of power.
Yeah, you're constantly searching for an outlet to recharge.
Exactly. But this heart fire, this courage to be yourself that Venus in Leo is pushing, it's like bypassing the battery entirely and plugging your identity directly into a solar grid. You generate your own power just by existing in the sun.
That is a brilliant way to frame it. A solar grid doesn't care if anyone is watching it generate power. It just does. It's entirely self-sustaining.
But wait, I have a question.
Sure.
If the goal is internal courage, generating your own solar power without needing an audience, why frame this entire allegory around a city of mirrors? Aren't mirrors inherently about looking at our outer surface? They're the ultimate tool for vanity. It kind of feels like the story is setting a trap.
Oh, it's absolutely a trap. And you've identified the pivotal danger of the Venus in Leo transit right there.
Okay, glad I'm not the only one who noticed.
No, it's very intentional. As the heart fire encourages visibility, a fork in the road appears.
Yeah.
Do you use this vibrant energy to live for yourself, or do you use it to perform for the crowd? The mirrors are just the catalyst that forces that choice.
Which introduces us to Elian.
Yes, Elian.
He's this young, famous glassmaker in the city, and he's known for crafting these masterpiece mirrors. But internally, his battery is completely dead.
He's totally empty.
Yeah, he secretly hates his own reflection. He creates these gorgeous pieces. The crowds absolutely adore him, but every single compliment leaves him feeling more hollow. The text notes that the more admiration he received, the hungrier he became.
Because Elian is the poster child for outsourcing self-worth. He is a master at navigating that transactional applause we talked about, but he is bankrupt. And because the heart fire is awake, he has this defining interaction with a special mirror framed in silver roses.
Right, and it refuses to show him his current reflection.
Exactly. Instead, it shows him two possible futures.
The first vision is essentially the peak of the battery-powered life. He sees himself dressed in jewels and heavy silks, just surrounded by a massive crowd. People are screaming his name.
He's achieved absolute fame.
Right. But the Ilian in the mirror is physically exhausted. His smile is painted on, and his eyes are completely dead. He whispers to the mirror, "Is this what I want?" And the mirror replies, "It is what you think you want."
Then the mirror pivots to the solar grid alternative. The image shifts to a second vision. Ilian is just wearing a simple, breathable linen shirt. He's in a messy, colorful workshop surrounded by strange inventions.
No crowd.
No crowd at all. Just a few friends gathered around a wooden table, children laughing in the background. And he's smiling genuinely.
And when he asks the mirror which life he should choose, the mirror literally points to his chest and gives him the metric for the rest of his life. It tells him to choose the one that leaves warmth behind after the cheering stops.
Wow. And notice how that plays out on a macro level in the fable, too.
Mm-hmm.
While Ilian is having this deep internal revelation, the rest of the city is actively failing the test.
Oh, yeah, they mess it up completely.
They really do. The heart fire gives them all this energy to be visible, and they immediately misuse it. They become totally obsessed with admiration. They start throwing these lavish spectacles, buying treasures they don't even like, and turning every private act of kindness into a public performance.
And there's a physical consequence to this in the story, which is so cool. Whenever someone performed an act of genuine affection, it produced a tiny golden spark that floated into the sky.
Mm-hmm.
But as the citizens shift into performance mode, those golden sparks actually begin to fade. The text explicitly says the more they chased applause, the dimmer their light became.
It's a perfect visual for draining the battery.
It is. But here's where it gets really interesting, though, because, frankly, I'm stuck on a major contradiction here.
Okay, let's hear it.
I'm reading this fable, and it is practically screaming at us to reject the material world. Don't buy unneeded treasures. Stop performing. Don't be vain.
Right.
But then I look at your notes on the actual Venus in Leo forecast, and the astrology explicitly tells us that this transit brings glow-ups, bold romantic gestures, and luxury spending. It literally tells us to have the courage to fully be seen.
Yes, it does.
So how on earth are we supposed to balance wanting to shine and buy luxurious things without becoming the exact attention-seeking citizens the story is warning us against?
That contradiction is the crux of the entire transit. The forecast doesn't tell us to take a vow of poverty or, hide in a cave.
Hmm.
This raises an important question. What is the underlying motivation for the visibility?
Okay.
Venus in Leo is about bold aesthetics and luxury, yes, but the astrological source provides strict guardrails. It dictates that financial decisions right now must focus on quality over quantity.
Oh, I see.
You aren't buying the luxury item to show it off. You're buying it because the craftsmanship genuinely resonates with your soul.
Okay, so it's the difference between buying a ridiculously expensive, beautifully tailored velvet jacket because I feel amazing wearing it in my own living room while just reading a book,
Exactly.
versus buying that exact same jacket solely to post a picture on Instagram and then spending the next 3 hours furiously refreshing the app to see if my ex liked it.
That is the exact mechanism. The velvet jacket itself isn't the problem. The Instagram refresh is the battery drain.
That makes so much sense.
Right. The forecast warns us to explicitly watch out for pride, vanity, and romantic theatrics. The key phrase from Tarot by C here is, don't allow a need for attention and external validation to undermine our authenticity. The fading sparks in the fable symbolize exactly what happens when we use luxury or romance just to get a reaction from a crowd.
You know, the fable actually highlights people doing it right, too. There's a florist who just quietly gives bouquets to strangers, and she literally glows. An elderly sculptor spends weeks perfecting a single statue just for the love of the stone itself, and the streets fill with light around him. They are highly visible, they're creating bold, beautiful things, but their motivation is internally generated. They are fully on the solar grid.
Which brings us back to Elian and how he resolves his own crisis. He takes the forecast ultimate advice. He practices sincere visibility.
Oh, I love that term, sincere visibility.
He closes his famous workshop. He completely vanishes from the public eye for 30 days. And of course, the city, which is totally obsessed with performance, just goes wild with rumors.
Oh, yeah, they assume he's found buried treasure or is plotting some massive PR stunt.
Exactly. But the truth is so quiet. For 30 days, he ignores the market. He ignores his critics. He just builds the mirror he always wanted to build for himself.
And when he finally opens his doors, he reveals a frame carved from living wood with real birds nesting in the branches and glass that looks like liquid starlight. And when the crowd demands to know what it shows, he just tells them to look for themselves.
And this is where the Heartfire's promise is fully realized. When the citizens look into Elian's new masterpiece, they don't see fame or wealth or perfection. They see the version of themselves that is most deeply alive.
Like the widow boarding a ship at dawn.
Right, and the baker in a laughter-filled bakery. The mirror then reveals its final message, written in golden light across the glass.
You do not become radiant by being seen. You become radiant by becoming yourself.
That is the ultimate thesis of the Venus and Leo transit. You become radiant by becoming yourself. In the fable, when those words appear, the Heartfire answers. Every single faded golden spark descends from the sky at once.
The aftermath is just beautiful. The city erupts in actual light, lantern-shaped fruit blossoms on the trees, and for one moment, the entire population just stops performing. They realize the greatest luxury is not admiration, but authenticity.
Exactly. Those who create from joy produce sparks that just fill the streets.
So what does this all mean practically? There is a phrase in the forecast that honestly initially worried me, which was, love becomes performative. But unpacking it through the lens of Elian and the mirrors, it totally shifts. It doesn't mean performative in a fake, calculating, Instagram refreshing way.
No, not at all.
It means performative in the sense of tangibly, vividly expressing your true, unapologetic soul. It means taking the invisible internal feeling and giving it physical form in the real world. You aren't acting out a script for an audience of critics.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, it gives us a highly effective diagnostic tool for our lives right now. Over the next few weeks, as Venus moves through Leo, you're going to feel the urge to be seen.
For sure.
You're going to want to make bold moves. When you feel that urge, use the forecast metric. Choose pleasure that restores your fire, rather than performance that drains it.
Ask yourself, is this leaving warmth behind after the cheering stops?
Exactly. If the bold romantic gesture or the luxury purchase genuinely restores your fire, if you would do it, even if literally no one ever knew about it, then it is aligned with the transit. If it leaves you exhausted and hungry for someone to notice your effort, you are draining your battery.
It's Ilian in the heavy silks with empty eyes versus Elian in the simple linen shirt.
It really is.
You know, the story ends on this really poignant note. When the magical light in the city finally fades the next day, the architecture looks the same, the mirrors are still there, but the people have fundamentally shifted. The text says, people no longer chased brightness, they cultivated it.
Because they realized that from that day forward, whenever someone created or loved from a place of genuine sincerity, a new golden spark would drift into the sky.
We've covered some intense, deeply personal ground today. From the architecture of the City of Mirrors to the psychological engine of the Venus and Leo transit. Remember, between today, June 13th, and July 9th, 2026, you have a unique astrological window to tap into your own heart fire.
It's a powerful time.
It really is. You are being invited to stop running on the exhausting battery of external validation and plug into your own solar grid. Practice sincere visibility. And hey, if you want to dive deeper into these transits, be sure to check out the source material and even get one-on-one readings from Tarot by HIC at tarotbyhic.net.
As we wrap up, I want to leave you with a final, literal application of this fable to mull over. Think about the physical mirrors you stare into every single day, your phone screens, your social media feeds, the curated digital spaces where we constantly project our lives.
Oh, that's heavy.
If those screens were suddenly infused with the magic of Alien City, and they could only reflect your hidden truths, the person you are when no one is applauding, would you even recognize the person staring back at you? Or have we spent so much time chasing the applause of a digital crowd that we've forgotten what our own heart fire looks like?
Wow, that is the ultimate question for this transit. So step away from the vanity metrics. Stop refreshing the app. Go out and cultivate your own golden sparks. Remember, the goal of this transit isn't to put on a flawless show that leaves you exhausted backstage when the curtain drops. The goal is to tear down the curtain entirely, live unapologetically in your own skin, and remember that true radiance always, always comes from within. Until next time.